In the dazzling and often treacherous realm of Las Vegas, the American dream morphs into a potential nightmare for many. At the center is Dr. Thony de la Rosa, a once revered surgeon from the Philippines, who arrives in the United States burdened by an expired visa and an overwhelming desperation. Her youthful son, Luca, battles an immunodeficiency disorder, a condition that mandates access to expensive and experimental treatments available only in America. To make ends meet, Thony takes a low-paying job cleaning carpets and houses, relying on the support of her fiercely loyal sister-in-law, Fiona, living with a constant shadow of fear for her family's future. A fateful night shifts the trajectory of her life forever. While working at a remote and unsavory nightclub, Thony witnesses a brutal murder that puts her life in jeopardy. In a moment of extraordinary resolve, she chooses negotiation over despair. With her heart racing yet her demeanor calm, she offers the criminals an unthinkable proposition. She will meticulously cleanse the crime scene, erasing every trace of the heinous act. This chilling display of competence earns her the grudging respect of Armand Morales, the alluring and complex lieutenant of the syndicate. Armand, recognizing her potential, presents Thony with a compelling offer. In exchange for cleaning up their dark secrets, he will provide the financial support and security necessary to save her son. Caught in a web of crime and moral ambiguity, Thony embraces her new role as a ghost in the machine, the unseen hand that sanitizes the mob's underbelly. But her clandestine life comes with perilous risks. As Armand rises in power, she must evade the watchful eyes of FBI agent Garrett Miller, who views her as a crucial pawn in taking down the crime organization. The tension escalates as Thony juggles her loyalty to the syndicate and the ever-looming threat of exposure, all while navigating her complex relationships with her estranged husband, Marco, and her protective family. The stakes crescendo into a thrilling climax where survival depends on her ability to traverse a treacherous watershed, drawing the lines between her desperate need to protect her family and the consequences of her choices. Thony tries to break free from the criminal life, but the mob doesn't let go easily. Her life is upended by the return of her estranged husband, Marco, whose gambling addiction threatens to expose Thony's secrets and drain her newfound resources. Tragedy strikes when Marco dies, leaving Thony under immediate suspicion. Armand, having used Thony's help to finally dismantle Hayek's operation, attempts to step into a legitimate life with his wife, Nadia. However, their past is inescapable. A new adversary emerges. Robert Kamdar, a charming, ruthless former associate of Nadia, who blackmails Armand and Thony, forcing them back into a partnership that grows increasingly complex and intimate. Thony's ambition begins to evolve. She is no longer just cleaning up for the mob, she is leveraging her position. She opens a legitimate cleaning business, using it as a front to discreetly launder money for Armand and Kamdar. She is creating a real enterprise, a path to the stability Luca desperately needs, but one that is fundamentally built on criminal foundations. Meanwhile, Agent Garrett Miller's obsession with capturing Armand and Thony continues to jeopardize her efforts. This season sees Thony and Garrett locked in a deadly game of cat and mouse, one that often requires them to begrudgingly cooperate. Fiona is pushed to her limits, eventually facing a tragic deportation that separates her from Thony and her children. By the end of the season, Thony takes a monumental step, turning the tables on Kamdar and fully embracing the power that comes with controlling her own criminal network. The cartel's grip. After finally securing Luca's health and Fiona's tentative return from the Philippines, Thony's world is shattered. Armand, the man who was both her benefactor and her criminal conscience, is suddenly abducted following a dangerous deal. Armand's disappearance introduces the series' most formidable adversaries, the powerful and aristocratic Sanchez cartel. The cartel is led by the seemingly philanthropic matriarch, Ramona Sanchez, and her intelligent, Harvard-educated, and dangerously volatile brother, Jorge Sanchez. Thony must now negotiate not just with local thugs, but with a global criminal empire. Thony is relentlessly focused on one goal, finding Armand. She descends fully into the underworld, using her money laundering network and her surgical skills as bargaining chips. She must prove her utility and her danger to the Sanchezes. She volunteers her services to the cartel, not just as a cleaner, but as a doctor, performing delicate procedures to save their operatives' lives, making her utterly indispensable and placing her directly under the ruthless control of Jorge Sanchez.